Good morning, everybody. Mabel, say good morning. How are you feeling this morning? Much more bright and alert than you was last night. So, second night in, won't lie to you, not as good as the first night. She settled down very quickly again, but rather than kind of sleeping through like she did the first night, we had probably 4 or 5 incidences of her waking up and crying, probably about 5 minutes at a time. She'd be crying for, and we did manage to resettle her. I messed up being fast asleep. My priority was just getting her back settled so we could go back to sleep, but without giving in to her. What I really should have done was got up, took her out to the toilet properly, gone through some toilet training routines, and then resettled her. Because we did wake up to, it was only one accident, no one did, just one wee-wee. What's that nipping, missus? Let's go down if you're going to nip. But yeah, so that's where we're at this morning. We're about to do some obedience work with her that we started last night, and now she's in a bit more of an excitable mood. Hopefully you'll be able to see that a little bit more. It's first thing in the morning. I'm dying for a coffee, but we're going to do the obedience routine with her first, give her breakfast, and then we're going to go off to the coffee shop obviously for socialization purposes for Mabel, not because I want a really nice coffee. But let's face it, best of both worlds, you might as well, haven't you? Popped to the kitchen just to get her chicken ready for training. I came in on, she's gone, then I heard the scuttling. She's managed to find a way under the sofa, so let's have a little look. What are you doing under there? Hey? What are you doing? Can you see her? What are you doing? Come out of there, missy. So you're joining me on my obedience routine that we're starting today. We did work on it a little bit yesterday, but as you saw in yesterday's video, she was a little bit tired, and as always, we're setting their dogs up to succeed. So we kept it very brief last night, a little bit more energy today. So as you can see, we're working on luring the dog. So that's kind of the foundation of the vast majority of tricks, is getting them to follow a lure. We're working on sit to start with. It's one of the most easy ones. So all we're doing is I'm just using a bit of chicken, luring her head up so that a bum goes down. As soon as the bum goes down, you mark it with sit, and then lots of praise, give her the treat, and good girl. You can kind of see me doing that here. Obviously, she's a 8-week-old puppy, so obedience work is very advanced, so you want to do little and often and try and always end on a positive note. So as you can see here, waited, boom, as soon as the bum hit the floor, marked it with sit, gave her the treat, lots of praise, lots of reward, made it nice and excitable for her. Then we moved on to some, what I use a foundation of lead work. So we're getting her used to putting her head through a slip lead. And as you can see here, I'm just starting to get used to the pressure of a slip lead, but that it's a positive experience and it's about me communicating with her as opposed to always being about correction. So we're just using the lure again, luring her head through the lead. Getting used to there being something around the neck that has kind of variable pressure, because that is one of the best tools you can use. After that, we worked with some, as you can see here, just doing the vet check over stuff, checking her ears, checking her paws, getting her used to being checked in a way that might not be overly comfortable for her. And then as long as she doesn't freak out, she gets rewarded. After that, as always, like I say, I do these obedience routines just before meal times, and I portion off about half of the food and some high value rewards to do the training with. Then after she's done the training, she's earned her reward, she's earned her food, she then gets to finish off the rest of the food. Now we were working on some manners here. A big part of me is that a dog shouldn't be able to have food when they want, and eventually that she'll sit and stay, and she'll be in a stay for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even with the food right underneath her nose, until I tell her she can break and go for the food. So we're very much starting with the foundations here. So she's got the food, and obviously she's very used to being able to dive straight in. So I'm blocking her off here. I'm over the top of the food. I'm claiming the food, that it's mine. And what I'm waiting for is, I'm not using any commands because sit isn't nailed down yet, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to get her to relax, and the second she sits and waits and looks at me, pretty much straight away she gets to break and have the food. So already you can see there she was getting very close. She nearly was able to break. I'm not correcting her and I'm not hurting her, I'm just not allowing her access to the food, and eventually she'll get the idea. As you can see here, she's already starting to relax. She relaxes and boom, eye contact. The second she makes eye contact and she's relaxed, she gets to break and have the food. So these are the things that I'm not going to avoid showing you just because it's me. I don't want you to think that it's completely easy. So you hear that noise? Yeah, that's not a very happy puppy in the back. So we're starting to do some work. She needs to get used to going in the boot. Obviously she can't be in the front of the car, she needs to be going in the boot as she gets older. So I'm using my wife's old car that's got a very small boot, so she's not going to be bouncing around as much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here, I'm just going to give her plenty of time before we start moving. I'm going to wait for her to calm down. When she calms down, that's when I'm going to give her some attention. But while she's being like this, she's going to get no attention from me. But I also know that I'm not causing her any harm or stress. We're not driving yet, I'm not bouncing her around. I'm just going to sit, wait, she knows I'm here, she can see me, I've taken the parcel shelf off. Then you just got to be patient, listen to it. I'm not going to get angry, I'm not going to get frustrated, because that's even negative attention is giving attention to the problem. So I'm just going to sit here, be nice and patient, wait for her to calm down, give her some time to get used to it, and get used to not being with me, because this is going to be a big problem with me, because I work from home. Separation anxiety, being used to being with me all the time is going to be a big thing. So things like leaving her in the rooms on her own, making sure she gets used to being on her own in the boot. But that, yeah, is one not very happy puppy. The realities of raising a puppy, guys, I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to be bringing you along for all the highs and all the difficult times. Stay calm, confident leadership. Right, so quick update. She just about started to settle down while this car was stationary. Like you can hear, she's much better than she was. But as soon as we started driving, she went into full meltdown mode, really bad. About 5 minutes down the dual carriageway on about a 15-minute journey, and I made the decision to turn back round because I'm running the risk here of creating a really negative association to being in the car, and that could create a fear, anxiety response every time she comes in the car. So I really want to fix this now, and I've got kind of two options that I need to use, dig into my bank of secret weapons. Now, obviously, I can't give in to her and let her ride in the front with me for kind of two reasons. Firstly, she just is not going to be able to ride in the front as she gets older, so she needs to get used to driving in the boot. And secondly, she needs to learn that that behaviour that even now in the house you can hear her doing isn't acceptable and isn't get what she wants. So I'm going to have to kind of give in to her in some way to kind of create a positive association and learn that it's okay. And like I say, I've got two options. The first option, which is my secret weapon that I'm always banging on about, is the frozen Kongsicle. So I've got a Kong in the freezer full of frozen pate that I'm going to give to her now and hope that the deliciousness of that will settle her down, give her something to do, and then when we're driving again, and I'll keep doing that every time, and again, like with crate training and separation anxiety, it'll create a positive response. I'm also learning that with Mabel, she isn't very food motivated. Like the last dog I trained with Sully, this would 100% have solved the problem because he was hyper food motivated. So I've got a backup option if this doesn't work, and that is to go and bring out the big gun, which is Sully. So I'll go and get Sully in the boot with her, modelling good behaviour, giving her a bit of reassurance, someone there in the back with her who will be calm and relaxed and she can learn from. So we'll try the Kong first, hopefully that'll work, and we'll see how this goes. But like I say, this is a reality of dog training. You need to be flexible. So as you saw, that's not necessarily gone too well. So what we're going to do is we're still not going to give in because I really don't want her to learn that behaving like that gets her what she wants, because that will set us up for a nightmare with separation anxiety and being left on her own in general, not just whatever it is that she's dealing with right now. So I've jumped in the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dedicate some time to her now, so I'm not going to necessarily be able to film it, but to give you an example of the kind of things I'm going to do is I'm going to try and not let her jump up. Same situation as getting on the furniture and getting on the bed. I'm going to let her, when she's calming and quieting down, I'm going to give her some fuss, I'm going to stroke her. Hopefully I'm going to get her transitioned over to the Kongsicle and get her to relax. If I can get her to relax, then I'll try and move into the front and we'll go again. But I'm not holding out hope for this. Like I say, I think I'm going to have to go and get Sully at some point and try it, and the coffee shop socialisation might have to take a back seat, because this is going to become an issue if I don't try and get it resolved and at least create some form of positive association right now. So this is going to be main job for the morning is now this. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Is that yummy? Oh, it's yummy, isn't it? Now you know there's something yummy in there. Is that the tastiest thing you've ever eaten? Is that the tastiest thing you've ever eaten? What if we pull it over here? What if it's now over here? You're going to come and get it? You come and get it? Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Yes, very yummy. What if I put it down? Are you going to work on it on your own? And I can tell you you're a good girl. Yes, good girl. Isn't it fun to be in the boot? Isn't it fun? Yes. Good girl. Yeah, you're getting it. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. Yes, Mabel. Good girl. Huge improvements. Really good. Crying's gone. She's now redirected her attention to the Kong. She's realised that there is something absolutely delicious in there. So now I'm going to spend a good 5 minutes just sitting. I know I sound like a moron at the minute, but nice, calm, but excitable. I'm like, yes, good girl. You can hear me doing it, really reinforcing. Yes, this is excellent. And hopefully, let's see how she's doing. Yes, but it looks like we might have a happy girl that's going to enjoy working on this Kong. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the engine on, come back in and sit with her, repeat it, and then I'm going to attempt to drive. Look, got a bit of crying again, so I'm going to go back to getting back to where she was. So we're a few minutes on, huge progress. As you can see, crying has stopped now. We've not had any crying for a few minutes. The problem we were facing was, and again, my fault, I didn't hoover the boot out, so there's still bits of gravel and just stuff from having a pushchair in there, having other dogs in there, so I need to give it a good hoover and a good clean because the Kong's picking up grit. So what I've done to solve that for now is, I hope you can see this, but I've kind of wedged it in so that she's got the bottom of it available to access. So now she can kind of just sit and work away at it, because you're a good girl. Yes, Mabel. Isn't that yummy? So I think we've got mission accomplished. Check this out. From an hour ago maybe, what you saw, how she was freaking out, to being comfortable enough to fall asleep in the boot. Fantastic achievement. Now I could have just shut her in here, put some headphones on, ignored the crying, gone to the coffee shop and got her out. She'd have cried and squealed the whole way. I put a little bit of effort in, and I know, just from all my experience, is going to save me an absolute nightmare in the future. I'm going to have to repeat this, so every time we go out, I'm going to have to, obviously it won't be an hour every time, it'll be 10 minutes, but what I'll do is, as you can see, I put a bed down, so I'll put something a bit more comfortable down. I'll bring the frozen Kong, someone will sit in the back with her. If I'm on my own, I'll sit with the back, I'll get nice and settled and relaxed, and then we'll go on the journey. Now I've got a feeling that when I start driving, she might ramp up a little bit again, but if she does, she does. And if that's the case, what I'm then going to do is we're just going to strip it back, because I realise that then driving's just on her own is too far. So we're going to work on a bit more separation anxiety in the home, in being on her own. We'll work on crate training, because the boot's a very similar environment to the crate, so we'll do more of that. And then as part of the day, we'll 3 or 4 times a day, I'll just come and sit in the car like this with her when I know she's tired, and I'll bring her some food, I'll bring her some treats, I'll come and sit over the back seat with her, and I'll let her have a sleep in the boot, and I'll just watch a film on my phone or something, or answer emails and answer my comments and stuff like that. So yeah, that's not how I was planning this morning to go, but I am still going to attempt to get to the coffee shop, just because I am in dire need of a coffee, and it would be brilliant for her to do some more people training, and she loves that stuff's really easy for her, so I think it'll be a really nice experience for her just to get fussed by all the baristas, and I'm sure, again, like yesterday, a lot of the customers will want to come and play with her, so we'll attempt that again. But I'm really chuffed that you guys were able to come along and see that firsthand. Can you hear that? No, good, because that is complete silence. That is a content, happy puppy back in the boot. So that makes me a content, happy owner. I'm chuffed to bits. That was well worth the effort. I'm really happy with that. Like I say, we're now going to go to the coffee shop. We're going to do some more work on socialization in public, and I'm going to bring you guys along for the journey for that as well. But huge result this morning. Really happy. Right, so we're back from the coffee shop. The coffee shop was excellent. Getting there, like I said, was amazing. Once we got there, we parked purposely quite far away. So I had to carry her, and we got all the way walking down the road. So socialisation with traffic. Some people stopped and fussed her. So lots of socialisation with new people. Again, in the coffee shop, superb, can't fault it. Going back to the car, she's back under the blooming sofa again. I can feel her pushing up against the bottom of the sofa. But yeah, we've just got back. The trip back wasn't as good as the trip there. So she definitely, she settled when we first left. Coming back down the dual carriageway, she did struggle a little bit, and now she's a bundle of energy and has really picked up some energy. So what we're doing is I'm kind of trying to convince her to settle in a crate. Once she falls asleep in a crate, this is going to be the first time that I'm going to actually lock the crate. And then I'll sit here and I'm going to kind of observe, wait for her to wake up and keep the door closed for a little while so she can see me. But her being in a confined space, obviously with the boot and now the crate, this is going to be something I'm going to have to work on. Why I'm doing that, I'm going to update my training journal while all this is fresh in my mind. Like I say, every day with your training journal, manners, socialisation, obedience. What's your plan? And then recap on it, review on it, and then plan again for the next day. So always be proactive rather than reactive with dog training. After we've done that, I've got tons of work to do. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get her to settle. This is going to be the first time where she's going to have to really understand that, no, I'm busy. So you need to settle or occupy yourself in terms of toys and the right behaviours. So I'm going to break all my work up into 1 hour sections. At the end of each hour, we're going to go and do some toilet training. And we'll do a little bit of fun and a bit of play so she gets a little bit of attention, and then I'm going to withdraw it and go back to work so she can start getting used to having to self-soothe or self-occupy herself. So that's kind of the plan for this afternoon. I've got hundreds of emails now that have built up over the last few days replying to you guys. So like I say, I absolutely love doing, but that's probably going to be a good 3 hours worth of work. Then I've got to do some videos for the canine show, and then I'll start editing this video ready for tonight. And while I'm here, I want to thank everybody that's bought the Perfect Puppy course recently. There's been loads of you buying it. I've had some amazing feedback so far. It really warms my heart with people going through the course, starting the course, going, oh my, I can't believe how good it is. It's so helpful, the way it's all broken down. So thank you so much for buying it, and I'm really glad so many of you are finding a use from it. Now, like I say, she's knocking the tripod and playing, so I'm going to play with her a little bit, try and tire her out, and then settle her in the crate, and I'll update you a little bit later on. So we're well into the evening now, just the day rolled over, and I haven't quite had a chance to update you, but like I was just said in the last clip, I've just been editing it to see where I'd got up to. But in the last clip I was talking about that I was going to get to do a lot of work. I was going to break it into 1 hour sections. That went really well today. She settled down quite well. She was up here with me working, so she settled on the floor, so she hasn't been on her own. Me and my wife went to the shop for the first, so she was in the house on her own for the first time. I listened when I got home. I went to the window where I knew she was, and I listened, and she wasn't crying. But then when we came into the house and we brought the boys up to get them ready for bed, she then really started to ramp up, and I went in and she'd managed to escape from the crate and had had a poo accident. So like I say, these are the realities of having a puppy. It's not easy. I really wanted to show you the good and the bad side of it. Not the bad side of it, but the challenges that even somebody that would class themselves as a professional will struggle with these things, and it's difficult, and you just have to be consistent and work your way through it, follow right protocols, and you get through it. It's just about kind of trusting the plan. So we'll get there. It's all part of the journey. So thanks so much for watching. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe so you get to see the videos coming up, and you'll be able to see. It'll be really fun in a few months to be able to look back at that video where we were struggling with something like crying in the boot of a car, or escaping from the crate or with toilet training, to see how far they'll come. And I think that's what's going to be really fun about documenting this journey from day one, is that you'll really be able to see that progression. So I'm hoping you're enjoying the journey, and I'm hoping that you're learning something or just enjoying the videos. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Will and Mabel.